Hi YouTube, this is week 6 of the Pagan YouTube Challenge, which this week's question is, what is your cultural influences? I actually have a few. I kind of have a little bit of a hodgepodge because I was raised Romney in the Appalachian Mountains, so you've got your Romney culture there. It's very strong and basic. You've got your influences of paying attention to omens, to signs, working for different goods, and looking at things differently. Then you've got your granny magic, which works off of what's around you. I tend not to go off of exotic ingredients. When I'm needing to do a spell, I'll use what I have, or I'll go and pick what I have, and what I need. So you won't find, many spells written by me with a lot of ingredients that you've got to order out of the area. And then, with my tradition, we are a dual pantheon, and we practice powwow. That's our system of magic, which comes from German settlers moving into the Pennsylvania Dutch area, getting influenced by the Native Americans, later influenced by hoodoo. So yeah, that has a lot of cultural influences in it, and it does influence the practice in general. The healing rites I do are a blend of Pennsylvania Dutch, and use a lot of repetitive chants. But when I'm doing a tarot reading, I'm doing a tarot reading more of in a Romney style. So yeah, I can see a lot of different cultural influences in my practices. A lot of my views on things is culturally based. Cleansings, keeping things clean, keeping things organized. That tends to come from the Romney side of things. Paying attention to omens, paying attention to signs. For me, everything is not a sign. But at the same time, I tend to give it more stock in the signs and in the planting seasons and in the actions to be taken during certain things and watching certain things occur. Probably more so than most pagans. I tend to prefer to work quietly very often if I'm working for healing for somebody, unless it's something they've asked to do. I don't deal with that. Oh, you gotta ask permission to work healing. No, if someone has an issue, they're going on my altar. They know that normally automatically. So yeah, I would say there's a good bit of cultural influences from the Romney side of me, and paying attention to things. I'd say there's a lot of cultural influences from the powwow that I practice that has a lot of Pennsylvania Dutch behaviors, beliefs, and views in it, and some of the herbs, because most of the herbs I use are naturally either within this area. Looking at the Celtic magic and Celtic rituals I do, I can see the Appalachian influence in them. An example would be that one of the animal spirits I work with is supposedly a polar bear. I've never seen them as a polar bear. They're normally a nice, big, fat, black bear. So those are things that kind of fit into my view of when we get into cultural influences. I think it's important that we honor those cultural influences, understand where they come from, and also to pay homage to that culture. And to take on those views if you're going to practice it. It would be like a hoodoo practitioner not understanding the Catholic symbolism within the hoodoo, or understanding why certain paths have certain overtones to them, because it's part of the history of the path, is the culture that it grew up in, the culture it was derived from, and being very comfortable with that. And if not, then maybe you've got to realize what it was for. So, do I have cultural influences in my path? Yes. Do I think everybody should have some sort of cultural influences in their path? No. Nothing's set in stone. You practice the way you practice. I practice the way I practice. But I also view at it that way. Alright then. Until next week, have a good weekend. Bye, y'all.